Hello friends, I welcome you all for the today's presentation, and what we are going to discuss today is a very important thing. Class 11th exams are approaching. So what we are going to discuss today is about class 11th main topics which you have to do, which you can't leave, and that will give you approximately around 50 marks out of 70. These are the most important topics according to me. I am Devendra Sharma, which name is Dev Sharma, Physics TNP, my YouTube channel, where I'll be sharing all the videos. I am already doing a 50 days challenge with class 12th also because their boards exams are approaching and approximately so class 11th is also having their exams. So for those students, I'm sharing these videos where you can learn and you can see how you can improve your studies. So what are the most important topics that we are going to discuss today? The first unit, it is of 3 marks only. And in this first unit, what we have to discuss is the dimension formula and dimension analysis and application only. So all three applications to check the formula, second to derive the formula, homogeneity principle, as well as the unit conversion. Moving on to the unit number two, motion in a straight line, all the definitions and everything you have to do. The most important thing is instant velocity, where the numericals are, and of course the average velocity, the graph, and of course very important, the relation of uniformly accelerated motion that you have to deal with in graphical treatment only. Sorry, although I'll suggest कि अगर आप if you people do this thing in the calculus method, so there is no harm in doing all these things in calculus method also. Motion in a plane, if I talk about the most important thing is the vector addition, where we'll be discussing about the triangle and parallelogram law of vector. And then the multiplication, we will be discussing about scalar and vector product of the vectors, dot and cross product. Very important numericals are also on these topics also. So we'll be discussing these topics one by one also. Not today, but from tomorrow we'll be doing the videos of class 11th also. Very importantly, the projectile motion, horizontal as well as the vertical motion, all the things which are there in the projectile motion. And of course, we'll be dealing with the uniform circular motion. We will be discussing about centripetal force, centripetal acceleration. So these are two units which we have discussed right now, approximately of 13 marks. And if you will do at least these topics, you will be at least getting 78 marks out of 13. Next unit again is of 10 marks. All the laws you have to do. Very important. Impulse is a thing on which you can do some numerical solution. Newton's third law's application, where you have to deal with especially that lift case, elevator, moving in elevator, wheels of a body. Then laws of conservation of linear momentum, the numericals are based on this linear momentum conservation. Then moving on to the friction part, where we'll be discussing about static and kinetic friction, the definition and everything you have to deal with. The thing which you have to do is work on a horizontal as well as inclined plane, which is not written right now here, but you have to do note down all these things. Work done on an inclined plane as well as on a horizontal plane with friction. Centripetal force रहेगा, and the most important topic of these chapters are bank road and curve road, where you have to find out the minimum velocity. Moving on to the next unit, which is again of 8 to 10 marks, work energy power. A little bit difference will be there because class 11th is not a board class. So maybe your teachers can do a little bit changes in the question paper pattern or the marking scheme. Work energy theorem is the most important part up to now. And of course, we have to deal with all the type of energies and all these things. So definitions and everything we have to do. Then moving on to the conservative force, where we have to prove that all the work done are mgh, mgh, mgh. The three cases where this will go by state and then by slope or maybe the stepwise structure. So that you have to do. motion in a vertical circle. Very important topic. We will be discussing about the tension at lowest and tension at highest point also. Very, very important topic, motion in a vertical circle. Of course, one thing which I want to discuss in class 11th is again, I'm telling it is not a board case. So maybe there are some topics which your class or your teachers or your school is not dealing with. So not an issue. I'll be sharing, I'll be doing all the topics. I'll be doing all the things whether it is in your syllabus or not. Then the most important thing again of this chapter, elastic and inelastic current. I'm the most important topic I'm discussing here, nothing else. And then moving on to the unit number five, system of rotational particle, of course, center of mass of a two particle system, and numericals based on it. Very, very important. Numericals based on it. And moving on to the next part, torque and angular momentum, both Cartesian as well as the polar coordinates you have to discuss. Conservation of angular momentum, of course, you have to deal with that thing also. There are some small relation also in this chapter. L is equal to A omega, tau is equal to dN by dt. W is equal to tau theta, and these relations are also important, although they will not come in 3 marks or 5 mark question, but they can also come. So you have to deal with all those topics also. Then moving on to moment of inertia, where you have to deal with the expression of radius of gyration as well as the rotational kinetic energy. So you have to discuss these topics also. I'll not go to the moment of inertia part where you have to remember so many formulas and all. So I'll be not discussing that. Of course, the equation of rotational motion also, where V will become omega and A will become alpha. Moving on to unit number six, gravitation, Kepler's law you have to do. Some numerical part also, although Kepler's law proofs are not in our syllabus. T square is the proportional to R cube, third law. The numericals can come on that topic also. The acceleration due to gravity, small g, and its variation with depth and height. Both the topics are very, very important. Escape speed, orbital speed, these are again the most important topics, I should say, of these chapter. Of course, gravitational energy is also important, but we won't be focusing so much on that topic. Moving on to the bulk properties here. The first part is about solids, where the stress strain relationship, that curve is a very, very important, I should say. And numericals on Young's model, because Young's models and shear models is having the same formula. So the numericals will be on Young's model. But I'll not talk about so much because that is a simple analytically assembly. The second part is very, very important where we have so many topics. Law, terminal velocity. Then we have the critical velocity. And of course, Bernoulli's and its two applications, most important one, venturimeter as well as the Torricelli's experiment. So these are the two important applications from Bernoulli. The surface part, I'll be just telling you that do this excess of pressure. Excess pressure in a soap bubble as well as excess pressure in normal liquid flow. So I'll suggest only go for that one. Then if I talk about thermal properties, not so much of importance. I will not say about this thing. Of course, latent heat you can do. Hmm. Latent heat you can discuss, of course. And I'll not talk about the other things. The CP-CV relation will be dealing in next part. Yeah, one thing which I would love to discuss, that thermal expansion and their coefficients, alpha, beta, and gamma. Do go for the relations also. Moving on to the next part, thermodynamics, the next unit, I should say. The last unit was a big one because it was having three chapters. So in those three, deal with the first two in majority. Thermodynamics is not that much of importance. Of course, it is important for the competitive part, but not right now. Zeroth law you have to do by your own. Fifth law you have to do by it on. I'll just talk about the work done. Work done in isothermal as well as adiabatic condition. Very, very important. The topics heat engine The other things are not in our syllabus. In law definition, of course, and the applications of first law, where we'll be discussing about the relation between CP and CV, which is also known as the Mayer's formula. CP and CV, remember, CP and CV is the formula. CP minus CV is equal to R. So you have to know the topic also. Moving on to cases. Very important one is gas pressure, and using that gas pressure, you have to derive the all the gas laws, Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gale-Stokes law, Avogadro's number, and everything. With that, all you have to discuss from that gas pressure. So the first thing is KTG, and you have to discuss about the gas pressure, and then all the gas laws from it. Then degrees of freedom, and from that degree of freedom, we'll be calculating the values of Cp and Cv from and of course gamma, the ratio of specific heats. So that will be discussing, that will be doing from that degrees of freedom. And of course, last but not the least, mean free. Moving on to the last chapter, which mostly students leaves nowadays. So I'll be very, very focusing on this chapter because right now I'm dealing with JEE students also, and as a sir, we haven't done this oscillations and waves in R11. So very, very important. Simple harmonic motion, SHM, and the equation of motion also, because it is very important. d2x by dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. So it's a very, very important equation. All the definitions and other things you have to know. We're not talking about that thing. Then we have to discuss about a very important topic, which is called the simple pendulum, and of course some spring cases also. Yeah, very, very important, horizontal as well as vertical. And last but not the least, energy in SHM also. So these are the topics from oscillations. I'll suggest to go for it. And one more topic is there, that is the motion of circular motion, where we'll be discussing that circular motion is also executing this HM. So do go for the circular motion also. It's not equal, but do go for the circular motion also. And then moving on to the wave motion, the types of motions are there that you have to do. And the most important thing is speed of a wave. We will be discussing about Newton's formula and the Laplace correction. So very, very important is there. And then moving on to the organ trips and beats. These are the things which you can do from this chapter, not more than that. So that's it about the class 11th topics. There are so many topics which if we try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39 and 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. So again, we have the most important 50 topics which you can do one topic per day. So in 50 days, you can be the champion of physics. So 50 days challenge of class 11th, I'm also starting in a day or two. So start doing the practice of class 11th also. God bless you all. See you tomorrow.